Hello, a wonderful evening to each and every one of us. And I want to say a very big thank you to everyone that is always finding time to always join us on our Tim-Osa media program. We've been having this talk show for more than a year now, and we're actually seeing how this talk show has actually touched the life of people and also had a great and positive impacts in the life of so many out there. And today is not going to be an exception because we'll be having a very important guest as we go through the topic of today. But before we bring up the guest for tonight, I want you to just let us know where you are joining us from tonight. Thank you for joining us. You can just tell us where you're joining from, and we can acknowledge your presence as well. So we appreciate each and every one of you always joining us. We indeed love you, and we want to also tell you that you should keep joining us because this platform is actually meant to bless the life of people. So tonight we are looking at a very important areas. We've been having different topic. We've actually dealt with the aspect of education. We've dealt with different areas entirely. But today we are looking at another area that seems I don't know how to actually put it, but we're looking at an area where people they want to see some of those things that is not talked about in school. Maybe you going through the four walls of your school, but what are the things that they don't actually talk about? What are those things that we don't actually mention why you are in school? There are some life lessons that you cannot see in school or that you are not being taught in school. And tonight we have a guest that will be taking us through that session. Is somebody that I, I respect so much. Is one of in fact when I actually posted it on my status, in fact somebody was like, "Whoa, so you know this great man." So that tells you how important he is. I will just give a brief of his background. I will just read it to us, then we can officially welcome him to our midst tonight. So he's no other person than Mr. Oga Gospower. He is an NDDC scholarship alumnus, a UK-based associate chartered accountant and associate chartered stockbroker. He bags first class in accounting and holds master's degree with distinction in accounting and finance from Nigeria and UK respectively. He has over 10 years of experience in financial technology. Just imagine the profile, the beginning of the profile alone should tell you the kind of person we're having tonight. So, yeah, he has over 10 years of experience in financial technology, higher education, and a civil service as an accountant, financial advisor, and tax auditor. He's a motivator, he's a career advisor, and a foreign education scholarship advocate, combining with his specialty in audit, investment, and portfolio management. So that tells you the kind of person we're having tonight. So you will just join me as we welcome Mr. Oga Gospower. Good evening, Mr. Gospower.
Good evening, Mr. Tim. I hope you can hear me clearly.
We can actually hear you.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everyone that's joining us today. If you can hear me, I think there is the chat box is up. Good evening, everyone. You can respond. Tell us where you're from, and so we can just know people out there and listening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Gospower. Sorry, just to probably this an aside. You have fun in your room.
During the last heat wave in the UK, right? Because and it was just that period I was relocating from London to Cardiff. So the my landlord, right, installed fans in the room, and to be candid, I'm enjoying it. I mean, that's since I've been in the UK. This is the first time I'm getting a place that there is a fan. and I'm enjoying every bit of it.
Like I'm actually surprised. Seriously, I'm surprised. You can't see that in Scotland. Never.
Well, yeah. I was in Scotland for about 3 years, so I
Yeah.
never saw one when I was
No,
in
I
Scotland.
think that would be a bit difficult. So we've actually read some of your is it we like call it is it autobiography now or biography?
On my profile, yeah,
Yeah, okay, your profile, yeah, to the
yeah.
people. So we would just want you to introduce yourself, Mr. Gospel, because we wanted to have some guests from LinkedIn and also from YouTube and as well Facebook. So can you please just introduce yourself so that the people will actually know you?
Well, I trained as I basically I am a chartered accountant. All right. I mean that's what I studied in school. Um, Funny, I went through the polytechnic then before I got to university, but some of those things are not in my profile. All right. So I mean that was it. So I studied accountant, but um, I had interest in investment. Okay, so because of that, I wrote the charter. So okay, I started. My interest in investment was built when the stock market was there. I read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. I mean that's a book I recommend for
Yeah.
everybody. So after reading that, um, okay, sorry, I'm just turning my head because like I'm looking as if I'm facing somewhere. I don't know if it's the camera. All right, so after reading Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, my interest in investment was, it was pumped up. I decided I was going to go into investment. But my background was in accounting. Also, I wrote the exams to become a chartered stockbroker. But as fate will have it, rather than becoming a practicing stockbroker, you know, I couldn't get a space in there, and then I got into the academia, and then I became a lecturer. So I lectured in the University of Calabar for several years before I came to the UK.
Okay. It's nice having you on the line, Mr. Gospel.
Thank you very much.
I think I don't know. Is it just my side? There's a noise coming up. I don't know. Is it from your end?
Okay, I wouldn't know. Let me check my phones. Yeah, but well, I don't know because from my end it's very okay. I can the noise that is no longer there, right?
Okay, but I think yeah. Were you trying to log in with your phone before?
Currently, no, and my phones are off. So is the noise still there?
Yeah, I think it has actually
Okay,
reduced
I
now.
think let me try to get rid of my phones, possibly maybe vibrations or let me keep a little bit far from myself. Okay, is it better now?
Okay, I think it's looking at here.
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
our audience will actually want to, because we are looking at a very sensitive topic tonight, which has to do with life lessons that school will not teach you. These are, I remember why in uni, I listened to one message by KK. I don't know if you actually know him. He's a pastor based in Warri. So he preached a message about life lessons that schools will not teach you, and that gave me a kind of a shift in the way I think and the way I actually do things. So based on this, we'll be asking you some personal questions if you don't actually mind. So
No,
because
I don't mind at all. I don't. I believe that. A platform like this shouldn't be about just telling about things that are too theoretical. It should be a place where people come to learn life lessons. And I think I have the persuasion that most of the people that are joining us are um, maybe in Africa or Nigeria. So this most of them, not everybody actually. So these are things that we faced while growing up, right? And we've transitioned from there to where we are currently. I mean, these lessons are going to help a lot. Not just to serve as a source of motivation, as you had earlier pointed out to people, so
okay,
that they too will be able to. It's like we've gone through this part, so we have to help others to go through the same part. Thank you.
okay, thank you very much. Mr. Gospel. Okay, can you let us know how were your upbringing, like your childhood life? I know that might be personal, but how was it like? Can you let us know?
Okay, so it's funny actually, right? Because if you saw me when I was a child, you would have you would have said, let's assume you, if you're not a prophet, you're just anybody. You would have said, I don't think this boy can be anything because I grew up in a village, right? I grew up in a village. I was very young when my father left the military, and he left Lagos for Cross River. So, and then we were, down there in the village. So I grew up, when they said you had no, shoes, you see a lot of stuff like when you say, oh, you had no shoes, or you went to the primary school, and then your shorts wasn't good because it was torn completely in the buttocks, and you have to possibly sew it or left it like that. That's how bad it was. I remember when we were young, we'll go to the farm, not just the farm, we'll go to the mountain. I remember as a child coming from the farm, maybe wet, there is rain, and I'm really so tired. And I remember this perfect, like sometimes I'll feel as if I should just go to the side of the road, lie down and sleep. That's how tired I was, but we still had to, walk up. So I grew up from a really very humble background. I remember then I have brothers, I have people in Lagos and Ibadan. So leaving the village, coming there was like a trophy. As a child, whenever I get annoyed, they do something I don't feel like, I'll go and pick my portmanteau. They call it portmanteau, those old village. I'll pick it and go to the road that I want to travel to Lagos. That's how much leaving the village to Lagos or Ibadan out of the village was such an achievement to me. So I grew up in a place that you would have seen me as a child in elementary school and of course in junior high because I lost my dad in junior high before I left the village. So if you saw me there, you'd have like, this guy would never be anything. I mean, all these village kids, those village kids, they snap on documentaries. Some of them will not wear shirts or wear very old and torn shirts. That's how it was. But it was a transition. Today I'm here. I would say God's mercy and of course some dint of focus and hard work.
Thank you very much. So, the transitioning, how was it like? Probably before now, you were in the village, probably before you moved over to maybe the city, before going for your polytechnic program, and from there to the uni to get. So it's been a long time coming. So how was the transition like? And I know obviously there were some challenges too that you actually passed through because I'm asking this question so that we build a kind of a solid background to what we're actually discussing today, which has to do with life lessons. Because it's very obvious that this is us bringing up the right guest for our talk show tonight, because this is somebody that is from a very humble background. So he actually have the experience of both the classroom teaching as a student and also as a lecturer, and as well the real life situation, how it ought to be and how it has been. So can you tell us how was it transitioning like from the humble background to where you are currently?
Okay, so as a child, I've always loved education. I was actually, very focused. I remember, we're sort of myself and I have a half brother. My father had more than one wife. I remember how serious it was academically. Like we really, we are competing. Boys in the same. I had other people, but we'll compete seriously in primary school. When we got to high school, unfortunately, like, we were in the same class. So position 1 to 3rd was something like we fought. I remember a day we actually fought physical fight. Right, that day was we went to write a test. I think we both missed a test or something like that. We now went to write it. Myself and my half brother. He was older than me, and then he finished before me and submitted. And the teacher now said we should submit. And I got annoyed with him that why would he submit before me? Should have waited until I finished. My dear, we fought real fights. Like our elder ones were, it was in high school then. Our elder ones were in this class looking at us. We fought and fought and fought. And when the result came out, we both scored the same thing. So it was that serious that the competition was intense. First and third position. There's another guy. I think he's a lecturer in either I'm not academic staff or an academic staff in the Federal College of Education, Obudu. Myself, my half brother, and that guy called John, we're always struggling for those positions. So, that was the foundation, growing up. So I was, I was really focused academically. Now, after the elementary school, going to high school, year 1 to 3, I now lost my dad when I was in year 3. And then I was ferried off to live with my elder brother in Ibadan, right? My elder brother, he was a military man. For those that are really aware, live in the West, there's a place called Odogbo Barracks in Ibadan. I mean, that's where I was. So while we're there, I didn't start school immediately. I remember I would stay back and see those going to school. I was feeling so sorrowful. And then my brother, we had a misunderstanding. Sometimes would not treat me well and all that. I remember somebody even offering me money to leave my brother and come back to meet my mother. My mother was just uneducated and a peasant in the village. I felt like if I lived Ibadan, for instance, go back and meet my mom, what would my mom do? My mom can't even take care of herself. So I had to persist. My brother now registered me in a school in Ibadan. And now that school is such that later I learned that the common entrance rejects. That's where they end up. A boy from Cross River go to a school, they speak vernacular. I mean, it was a school that nobody, if you really, most of those people that, achieve anything, they don't go to that school. So, but there I was, I wrote my SSC then. We did valedictory service. I was a valedictorian, right? I got award best graduating student, other awards. I can't remember all of them now. Best science student. That's what they called it, right? Then, but the results came, and I wanted to study medicine. I didn't make physics and chemistry. It was strange, right? The best science student couldn't make physics and chemistry. I wrote again. I still didn't make physics and chemistry, and it was such that the entire results will come out, but physics and chemistry will not come out. And so it was then. Okay, so I'll bring this aspect. See, I got born again in high school. So why I'm bringing that is I want to just so you understand my life. It was then I decided to okay, what's the best social science course I can read? I was young, so I said if I study economics, I'll be a teacher. If I study accounting, I'll be a teacher. So I looked for a school that called the course accountancy because I needed a professional course to read. And then I chose that, and then admission from the university enough, I went to the Polytechnic. Now, why it was later on now, I had a revelation. Sorry for those that are not, they don't believe in that, but I have to tell you, I'm a Christian. So I had a revelation where we were lining up and somebody shook my hand and said, an accountant. So it means that, okay, this was what you needed to have done from the first instance, but you wanted to go do something else. So the failure, I will call it, would I call the failure now, was intentional because the second SSC exam I wrote, I wanted to score straight A's, but I still didn't, the physics and chemistry wouldn't come out, all that will come out. And I went to Polytechnic to study accounting, and I had a distinction from science to accounting, and then I had a distinction in ND, and then after ND, I tried direct entry, everywhere. I even still wrote jam, tried, I scored, was it 240 something or that, but I tried, it didn't still work out. I now still continue. After HND, I now went did direct entry, went back to university, had a first class, wrote ICANN, became chartered. I wrote to the, my job in university was divine. Why I said it's divine because I did not really have to go through, in fact, I was working as an auditor then in Nigeria. I was working as an auditor. A friend that graduated from University of Calabar then, he told me that let me just retract a little. I attended the Cross River State University of Technology for my undergrad, right? Had a first class. Now, before I went there, I was in Lagos, right? Trying to write ICANN and all that. So somebody actually, I just went to read one day in the library and I saw Cross River State University of Technology convocation, first class student, automatic lecturing appointment. VC said was going to send them to any part of the world up to PhD level. I now said, boy, I'm from this state. Why would I stay in Lagos? I'm looking for a job. I can go to this place, go this first class, get automatic lecturing appointment, go to any part of the world up to PhD level. So why would I stress myself? I told my folks, they were like, well, you've been going to school, you went for HND, you should be settling down, you should be doing this and all that. Well, I made up my mind. And so that's what I want to tell you. If you want to achieve anything in life, you have to be persistent. This is what I want to get, and I'll go for it. All right. So I went to the Polytechnic, go to university, got the first class. After the first class, it was like, okay, now the governor said you are going to get automatic lecturer appointment, and scholarship and all that. Unfortunately, the governor was changed. The civil. The next guy that came doesn't even care. He didn't really give a damn about all this academic stuff. So it was then I started working as an auditor later somewhere. And when one day the guy there who schooled in Unical, right, said he learned they're appointing folks. We went there, I joined him. I was going to my Cross River State where I was trying to get my stuff. The bigger school was the Federal University, was Unical. I graduated from the State University. I went with him. And while he was there, he just he later told me, well, there's nothing here. We go. They told him there's nothing like that. He was going back to the office. We're working the same place. I now told him, so that's the VC's office. Wow, VC's office. And I said, I came to this school to do something. I'll just go back to the office. Let me just do something. I came down from the guy's car. He said he wasn't interested. He was going. I came down from a friend's car, went to the business center, what's it called? The letter I wrote, I addressed it directly to the VC. I went to the VC's office, went to submit it. I was in the office one day, I got a call. I should come and pick my appointment letter. I knew nobody, I didn't know. So that's how I became a lecturer. And, from there, I now got a scholarship, a fully funded scholarship that brought me to the UK. So, yeah, that's it.
Wow. So I think you've actually give us a very solid background for what we'll actually be discussing tonight. So what can you say about the differences between the real life situation and also the classroom teaching? What can you see to be the differences between these two different scenarios?
Well, the classroom teaching is going to prepare you for life at work. All right. But life is there are a lot of things to encounter in life that are not mentioned in the classroom. Okay. And of course, the classroom will prepare you for a particular career path. You study accounting, you want to become probably a financial analyst, an accountant, an auditor, or somebody who practices tax. I'm talking from my own perspective, right? From my own profession. But when you come out there, in fact, sometimes you end up not even practicing what you read in school. And then sometimes, especially in Nigeria, you face obstacles, lots of obstacles. And you have to now, look at yourself and decide what you're going to do about your life. Now, you and I, if you're reading current, what's happening out there, see that even there is so much suicide. There are a lot of suicide rates now. Suicide rates on the increase. Back then, we used to look at it that it's only the white folks or those in developed countries that are committing suicide. But it's become a commonplace now in Africa, for instance, and of course Nigeria specifically, that you see young folks committing suicide. It means that there are challenges that life will throw at you, but you have to know that every challenge has a terminal end, and that you are, if you persist, you will always come out of it. They always say there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Of course, there's always going to be light at the end of the tunnel. Most times, I used to tell folks this. See, every situation you encounter in life, someone has encountered the exact situation. But two things happened. One of those persons gave up while the other marched on and triumphed. You will choose whatever what your own story is going to be. Yeah, that's what I think. So that's it. Life, the classroom will not prepare you thoroughly for what you encounter in life.
One person gave up and the other person did not give up. I think that's already a life lesson that we should learn from. Okay, yeah. Now we'll now dive into the main discussion, which is the life lessons that school don't teach. Can you elaborate more on these and also give us some examples about these life lessons that school will not teach?
Okay, so while looking at this, I just came up with something. So one thing, the first thing I want to mention is personal finance or financial management. Right? People go to study medicine, but after you study medicine, you come out, you understand that whatever you do, whether you're a medical doctor, you're a physician, or depends on what branch of medicine you are going to deal with finance. All right, whether you go study mass comm, you are going to face finance. So it means that it's a financial intelligence should be a course that should be taught for everybody in school, right? And so it may sorry, some that's just the handwork speaking about. All right, good. So I want to say that they should teach everybody how to manage finance, how to invest. Okay, of course, investments could be investment in assets. Um, I wouldn't want to go deep into that, but whether it's real assets or we're talking of physical asset now, whether it's land, real estate, and all that, and of course we talk in terms of investments in the capital market, right? And of course, we think when we now talk of that, we now think in terms of portfolio management. How do you manage your portfolio? Now, a portfolio is an assemblage of assets. Okay, so you have maybe, whether it's stocks, whether it's real estate, whatever it is. Now, that's one thing, financial management. And I'm more bold to say that every individual on earth, there are some people that you should have as friends, and not just as friends, as somebody who is growing up. You should have somebody, you should have and then of course as a businessman, so you should have a lawyer, so that to handle your litigation. You should have an accountant to help you with financial planning. You should have a stockbroker to help you with investment advice. These three people are very, of course, and then of course on the next person you should have a physician. So I mentioned a physician, your health, a stockbroker to help you with investment, all right? And then you should have an accountant to help you with your financial management. And of course, you should have a lawyer to help you with, your litigation challenges, because it's a litigious society and those things will come. So, well, that was just sort of as an aside. So financial management is something that everybody should learn. So as I said, when we say financial management, it's an entire gamut of things. Talk in terms of whether it's budgeting, whether it's saving, whether it's investing. It's an entire, it's all inclusive. And I would say old book, but I still recommend it. Rich Dad Poor Dad. Now, why it's good to read Dad Poor Dad is because it's like the foundation, right? It creates a desire, and then you start reading. There are a lot of other books you have to read. Okay. Make reading your habit. That's one thing I will encourage you. Education doesn't stop in the 4 walls of university. It's a continuum. When you come out of school, you tend to go. You tend to keep on. Then the next thing I will talk about is resilience or perseverance, and of course, never giving up. I was okay. So I was discussing with somebody this week. And then he has worked with oil and gas firms in Nigeria before he came to the UK, and he was applying. And I was just telling him that you just spread out your applications out there, and go for positions. Even folks tell you, oh, this thing is not possible. Be somebody who does not believe in the word impossible. Attempt things that other things are impossible. If I have a friend that got admission in the US. And she didn't have to, or when I say a friend, not that we are really very close, she didn't have to write all the GRE and the GMAT and all this, and she got a fully funded scholarship. So when people say things are not impossible, try to do those things that people think are impossible. Now, I remember when I was growing up, I was trying to get admission to University of Ife back then. Of course, as I said earlier, I wrote JAM, and then I had distinction in my ND. Most of these people that had distinction, most of them actually got direct entry, but I didn't get, maybe because I was a cross bagger. But what I wanted to say is, when I look back then, I said I would have just gone to walk up to the HOD or walk up to the VC. That's what I want people to understand. Be bold, righteously bold. Take steps. I would have just walked up to him. The worst thing is he can just turn me down. He can't possibly slap me and say, why did you come here? You understand? So when you want something, you go for it. Be, persevere, be resilient, and don't take failure as, when you try something and you fail, you now think, oh, I'm not going to do it again. No, failure is actually a sort of redirection. Go back and try it again. We know so much about, Michael Faraday and the light bulb and how much he tried. Those things are just things that should let us know that don't take no for an answer. You should be resilient. If you want to achieve anything worthwhile in life, you should be somebody that is resilient. It might mean learning a new skill. It might mean learning a new trade. It might mean we have, somebody was telling me of a man. He was a pastor, right? And then he wasn't doing very well financially. And most times kids growing up, the children be like, "What does daddy do besides being a pastor?" And this man learns IT, and according to the story, he's earning, really very high now. He worked with, I think they said he worked with, I think currently he's working with BT or thereabout. But you look at the journey from how he started. If he had given up and said, "I'm too elderly, I'm too old, or I've gone too much in this profession," it would have possibly changed. So sometimes you might just have to change completely from the career you are currently, because you must understand the dynamics and times. Where is the country headed to? It's an era of artificial intelligence, information technology is taking over. How does your profession fit into this current age? And so you must align with it, get skills that will make you indispensable, because people are coming up. People are coming up. Even when I thought of, though you had a first class, I mean, that's history. You understand me? What have you done after you got your first class? Because you have the first class, you think things are going to be served on you on a platter of gold. It never works. It never works that way. So resilience, dear friends, resilience. Okay, you will fail, bounce back, push on, and those are And then the next thing I want to talk about networking and social skills. A lot of us, especially Christians, we don't take this thing seriously. Build, network, right? And that is networking is terms of, it's like when you have those things, you connect with people, value those relationships. What do you bring on the table? Network is actually, those people that you get is actually social capital, all right? Capital, capital could be finance, financial capital. Talk about social capital. The people in your network are your social capital. Those people you can leverage on. And it should be that you're not just only depending on them, but you also, there's a way you give it. As I said this, I remember some time ago, a lady slided into my DM on Twitter. She told me she's actually a Christian. Told me of her profile and everything. I was impressed. I said, okay, I was going to get back to her. I prayed about it. I felt, she should be a mentee, and it's been sweet. And I can say, hopefully, and I'm believing God, by God's grace, the lady will get a fully funded scholarship soon, to go study. And it was an opportunity that I saw, and I sent it across to her, and she worked on it. And so that's networking. She looked at me and felt like, okay, I want to connect with this person. And she came, introduce herself, tell me, I looked at her, prayed about it, checked her profile, said, wow, this is somebody you can bring on board. And it's all along, it's been good. So networking, build social skills, be able, some people, they cannot maintain discussions. 1 minute you are off the handle. You cannot build relationships. You destroy relationships. You don't cherish people. No, respect people. When you have, build network, reach out to those people. You just reach out to them. Sometimes you buy gifts for them. You're not bribing them, right? You do. That's it. Build those skills. Some folks, immediately you leave the school, that's the end of it. 5 years after, you are asking for recommendation letter, and even your project supervisor cannot even remember you. It's that bad. Build those people, value those people, those lecturers that especially for ladies, for instance, those ones that have integrity, are contributed in every level. There's nothing wrong once in a while. You call them, hey, how are you, sir? I just said I should check up on you. You are keeping that relationship. Build network, and of course social skills. Maintain meaningful connections. Okay, they are very important for our personal and professional growth. Of course, meaningful connections spiritually. Ministers of God have contributed in your life. Yes, maintain connection with them. You will need them. Those people professionally, they are people that will achieve. That will help you to achieve success. I remember. Sorry, can I go on? I'm not finished what I'm about to say. Can I go on?
Okay, you can go on. You can just finish. I wanted to ask questions as regards the maintaining relationship, because that area is one area that we need to also go a little bit deep when we are talking about.
I was thinking maybe I should just run down on what I wanted to say. I will make them sharp and snappy. So you just know the questions, then later you can ask me. Or okay. How do you want that? All right. So I remember a particular lady, when we were in the university, she did not perform well because when I got to dig deeper, she called her. Why? We were constantly attending class, saw your zeal and everything. She now told me that she lost her brother. I think through very unfortunate circumstances, and it was sudden, not that the guy was sick. So I just knew that I felt okay, there was a way I could help her. Over time, this lady kept building relationship. Now, the first job she had after graduation was through a friend that I connected her to. And that's how she got a job. So imagine if she had, I've already passed, okay, this man has helped me to pass, and that's all. What would have possibly been, she would have just suffered. Now, so what I'm saying is build those relationships. Of course, so networking skills, how about time management and prioritization? How much do you manage your time? Are you that kind of person that somebody will just come and say, hello, Lucy, let's go out. And you don't have a plan for yourself. You just, run out. She said we should go out, and that is all. Though, be somebody who prioritize time. And I say that I want to say this: it's the era of social media. There are a lot of distractions, whether it's Instagram, IG, or Twitter itself, or Facebook, or TikTok, just any other, or is it Snapchat? These are time killers. You must be conscious. If you want to be anybody in life, sometimes you have to turn off, put your phone in airplane mode in order to, to achieve something worthwhile. So please manage your time. Those are things that kill. Set your priorities and, of course, work on them. In fact, it's good that if you should have a to-do list, and then you strike out those things. I put those things in accordance with, their priorities. That's it. And then the next thing I want to mention is, of course, you should emotional intelligence. That's really, really very important too. It's not just about academics. Talk about self-awareness. And of course, things like empathy. How much do you care for others? Some folks don't look at that. It's about me and myself and I. There are things, empathy is about putting yourself in other people's shoes and looking at how they feel. Of course, things also like conflict management. A lot of people can't manage conflict. They work in a place that are always being divisive. They're always a problem. They can't work in a team. Those things are things that you should do. And so it means that you have to volunteer out there. If you even don't get a job, volunteer. There are a lot of people that got jobs through volunteering. Being able to work in a team, work with others, look at people's other perspective, be emotionally aware. All right, build relationships. Emotional awareness is not just going to help you in terms of building relationships. It's going to help you to in relationships, of course, relationship with your spouses. All right. What else? Your mental health is very important. And of course, take care of yourself. Ability to manage stress. We are talking in terms of the suicide rate. Some folks cannot manage stress. When things are thrown at them, they just go off the handle. No, you should be able to know that. And of course, the last thing I want to talk about, personal values and purpose. What drives you? What are you living for? What do you want to achieve? What are your plans in the next, say, 3, 4, 5 years? Do you have goals? Do you have a vision? Do you have something you're working on? Or you're just going on in life and you don't have a focus? All right. So I think I will stop there so that you can ask questions and then, we throw more light. All right. Thank you. Oh, sorry. There's one more thing I want to say, which is most important, right? You must have relationship with God. Now, why do I say so? You see, this will not be taught to you in a classroom, whether in your philosophy class, your accounting class, or your communications class. They might not taught you. In fact, your lecturer might even be an ethics. Now, it's important you understand that we know that man came up from, God created man, right? It means that when he created man, man became a living being. He breathed, the breath of life that is in man comes from God. And so it means that, just like a fish feels very comfortably in water, isn't it? A bird fly in the air. If you take a fish from the water and keep it out of the water, it becomes really, really, it's likely going to die. The same thing with man. If you take man away from God, it's what happens? Condemnation. Man just goes on, does whatever he likes. That's why you see the killings in this world. Now it's all about, a lot of things are happening in this world. A lot of things are going wrong. It is because we want to be isolated from God. We want to self-manage ourselves. Man must have relationship with God if he's going to function, optimally in our world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gospel. I think I actually noticed that echoing is probably because I tried logging in with my other device. So if I have to mute myself, then it will stop. So that's
Okay,
why
good.
I'm always muting myself. So as we await people to send in their question, I think we have the first question here. So we have the first question here. So you can just read through it and maybe deal with that question first before.
All right. So do you need to have a tech background to work in audit? How do you find work and life balance? Okay, the first question is you don't need to have a tech background to work in audit. All right. Basically, you just okay. Now, when we talk about audit, it has to do with how you come in. Now, why I mentioned how you come in is if you come in as a trainee, it means you're going to be taught everything you need to work, right? So the level of tech we are talking of, it has to do if you're just good in normally your Microsoft Excel, spreadsheets, you'll be taught everything on the job. You don't need a tech background. However, there is a nice aspect of audit called IT audit, right? Information technology audit, right? And it's an aspect that incorporates a bit of IT in audit. And in fact, that too, you don't necessarily need to do it. IT audit has to do with a little of an infusion of cybersecurity in audit, right? There, you need to write an exam like CISA exams. I can put, the link on the chat. So you don't necessarily need a tech background to work in audit, but of course, you must be at least good with computer systems considerably, because audit has to do with you are not just looking at financial statement of companies. That's financial statement audit, tax audit, but you will also analyze data. When data is given to you, analyze it, and there are softwares that you have to use. But most times, those things are taught, in most of the firms globally. When you come in, they will definitely teach you how to use those softwares. Now, having said that, how do you find work and life balance? Okay, I work with the civil service, right? So it is such that you don't do it's not a high pressure environment like you have maybe in the big four. When I talk about the big four, I'm talking of KPMG, PwC, EY, and Deloitte, and of course in the private sector, not just the big four. In the private sector, if I were to work with audits, maybe with BD or any of the big four, out there, it'll be high pressure. But here, um, in the civil service, it means that you have time. In fact, I remember last week I was sent a message that I had to take some time off. That I have accumulated leave I have to take, so I'll be able to I do my work and then have time to rest. Okay, so you should plan yourself. There are times for holidays. Now is the summer. You can decide to book a holiday somewhere in Europe. Maybe go to Germany, or you go to Paris, right? Go and relax, or you can decide you want to go to the US, or maybe you want to go to Africa and enjoy the heat in Africa and eat the normal delicacy. Of course, that's what I miss, the normal, Nigerian food, right? I'm missing some of those stuff, while being abroad. Okay, so that's it. I hope that answers the question, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when you actually talk about building relationship, this is one area that is very paramount when we look at today's world. People don't actually know how to keep relationship. People come to you when they need something from you, and after that they are gone. You no longer see them, and they surface again when next they need something again from you. So how do you think people can actually build a solid relationship? Even though that's one question, how do people build a solid relationship, and as well, how do they keep the relationship in order to have consistency and every other thing that is needed?
Okay, relationships shouldn't be like somebody being a leech on the other, right? Absolutely dependent on people. Now, relationship can be on the same pedestal, right? Relationship can also be, horizontal. Okay. Now, well, vertical, right? Vertical. So it means it could be upward, it could be downward, it could be on the same plane. Now, why did I say that? There are people up there you have to look up to them. There is nobody that doesn't have somebody above. In fact, my personally, I have people that I look up to as mentors, people I can always go to. I have those that are constantly will kind of call, okay, sir, I'm about making this life choice. What do you think is the best way I do? All right. So it should not just be, it should be something that you define that relationship. Is it a spiritual relationship? And then of course, if you define, is it a professional relationship? If you define that relationship, what do I bring to the table? You understand? You don't just go to people where, in fact, relationship should be, there should be a sort of symbiotic relationship. That's why I actually was talking about, somebody that is maybe a counselor. There's sometimes you just say, oh, I just want to say hi to you. I said I should give you this. Do you understand me? Even something as little as airtime, if you buy it for a lecturer when you don't need it, you understand me? It goes a long way to, it rubs something on in his heart. Now, there's something else, before I continue, there's something else I discovered. When I was back home lecturing, I discovered that personally for myself, no matter how minute, the interaction I have with people, or rather, when I have interaction with people, let me not use the word minute now, I tend to remember them in the long run, right? Now, what I mean is this. When you interact with the lecturer and the person ends up knowing your name, even if you don't ask for a favor, when the person is working on your script, your name will just fly. If you reach that name, will just remember you. So please build this, cherish relationships and keep them. Keeping them will mean that if it's spiritually, you can pray for the person, right? You understand me? The person has kids. You can interact with the kids, buy the kids a gift. The person will always remember that little thing you do. All right. A mentor, if it's a mentor, reach out to your mentor. Ask for advice. When you ask for advice, you too also, do something. It might just be little. And I want to say that when you're interacting with somebody, over time you get to know the person's where you can fit into the person's life. That's something I feel that everybody should do. It should not just be a one-sided relationship whereby you are the one. It should be something symbiotic. The person it depends on you on a particular thing, and then you two are contributing. That's just it. But make sure you are bringing value to the table. That's just what I mean. That's the submission of the thing. Make sure I'm bringing value to the table.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Gospel, because I will just throw more light on that. For the students in the house, I think you are learning something very important tonight because this is a lecturer speaking to you. I remember when I was doing my ND in the Polytechnic, I obviously I read very well and I make sure I write my exams very well. But when lecturers don't actually, when they don't even believe that anything can come outside, like to them it's just this guy coming as a friend. I can go, oh sir, oh you need bottled water, I'll just buy and say this for you, sir. And I've discovered that lecturers now naturally start getting to know my name even without them asking me directly. Like they can just come to the class, oh, where's Timothy? Like, and that now brought me closer to them. That even when we had issues with my class rep, then the lecturers were like, oh, I think Timothy is the right person to actually replace this young man because we know he is upright. And God actually helped me both in prayers and everything. Everything became a successful story. Even to date, when I'm relating with my lecturer back home, you think I'm relating with my friend. Like we relate even currently my HOD, the way we relate as good friends. So I'm not taking those good times for granted. This is just me trying to tell the people that it's good and it's very pertinent to build good and godly relationship. Know your limits. Try as much as you can. Build a solid relationship. When I needed reference letter, I didn't need to go and start running from pillar to post to get reference letter. I just wrote one of my lecturer. It was like, how many do you need? I said, okay, I need like 2. He assisted me to contact other lecturers. Timothy need reference, and that's how I was able to actually get that. It is very, very important to build such relationship. So,
all right.
yes,
There's something else I want to mention. You
okay,
see, there are lots of opportunities that come to school that students do not know. It could be professional bodies seeking, seeking to give scholarship. It could be jobs that are coming in that students have to do internships. Most times, those things come through the lecturer. Wants you to pick two students that will be able to go for this competition. Wants you to pick two students that we feel you can recommend to work maybe after they graduate. And it's always going to be those students that are not just good, because the certificate rates you not just in academic excellence, but of course character wise. And so those are the things that I saw as lecturers. They are coming. I remember I schooled in Dundee in Scotland, for my masters, right? So I remember discussing with one of the lecturers, and she told me that there's an opening in school that I should come and apply to be a lecturer here in the UK. So build those relationships. That's just it. Build them and maintain them. Thank you.
okay. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Gospel. So now you actually made mention of we are in the world of social media. So we see. Let me a kind of an example with the lady that reached out to you in trying to probably do a research about the lady. You happens to go to the lady's profile on maybe any of the social media platform, and you discover that she's one that probably is not serious with her kind of lifestyle, maybe with her posting and everything. You see nudity here and there. Would you have been able to accept that person as a mentee?
All right. Obviously, no, because I feel the person is not serious. But then let me just add a tweet to that. I said something. I said something funny. All right. I have two Facebook accounts. Right. One is the Nigerian Facebook account. The other one is the UK Facebook account. Now, so one is Oga Godspa, my real name, the Nigerian one. Then the other one is Power Oga. Now, so I found out that people, especially ladies now, they prefer the Power Oga, the UK stuff. So, and of course, as you know, you grow up to an extent that you don't ignore people. You understand? You don't snub people. No, I that's something I hate a lot. So most of the time I try as much as possible to reply everybody. So when this lady contacted me, she contacted me via Twitter, right? I saw her, looked at, checked checked. In fact, I checked as far as checked Twitter, went on LinkedIn, checked where she works, her class of degree, but that's not important. But I just want to know who she is. I went to Facebook, I checked everything I needed to check, of course, and then I prayed, all right, before I accepted her. Now, look at that to what happened. I think just this morning, somebody said hi on Facebook. And, before I replied, I went to go and check. I saw that, just the nudity thing you are talking about. I'm like, this one doesn't really look serious. Like, she really throws the nudity at your face. And it's a lot of us, that are by God's grace, Christians. Let me use the word, the blanket word, and then not just that, we have a focus. Those things don't attract us. It's dirty things that fly comes at. You just throw your nudity out there for the entire world to see. It's the young men that just want you to do. In fact, even young men would not marry ladies that throw their nudity around, because your mom, your folks, your friends will be like, who is this person? It will be somebody that you can be proud of. So whatever those people want is just a lady they can just mess up with, and it ends there. But if they want serious relationship, they will go for somebody that has character, somebody who is focused, somebody who has integrity, and that's it. And so I want to say that, please, what you post out on social media is a reflection of who you are. Some folks might even go as much as reading reading your
comment.
yeah,
Even
your
your
comment.
comment, yeah.
You read your comments. So if you're a lady that is rambunctious, right? You're always agitated, you fight everybody. Somebody will be like, man, I cannot. So please don't just get the things to post. Don't put your entire life out on social media. Now this week, okay, sorry, today is a new week. the week that is past, right? The week that ended yesterday, Saturday, something happened. A young man came to the UK and he got a job as somebody who takes care of pets. I don't know if you saw that thing. He takes care of cats, and he's paid. I think either he said £100 an hour or £100 per day just to take care. And this is money that a lot of people are working really hard, even here in the UK, to get. He's paid £100 per day. A pound today is about 950, 950 naira. That's about 95,000 naira. The guy is paid per day to just take care of a cat. Cats don't even do a lot of trouble. You get, they are very friendly. Just take them, I'll walk with them or give them food they eat. And he's paid that much. Now, the guy now went on social media and did a video. And what did he say? He said, look at me here in the UK. I'm taking care of a cat and they are paying me so and so just to take care of it. Is it not the cat in Nigeria that I've killed a lot of cats? And he said that. Guess what happened? The video went viral. The employer sacked him. He said he's not comfortable keeping his cat with him. That since he said he used to kill cats in Nigeria. So it's not everything that appeals to you. Some people, I used to have somebody like that on Facebook, right? Just anything he thinks about, he posts it. You don't just write everything. You feel bad, even if you have issue with. We're talking about emotional intelligence. Something goes back in your relationship. Maybe it's even you're in a relationship that was linked to marriage and the person, you got jilted. Don't just go out there and just start writing. No, don't just write everything. It's not everything that happens to you that should be on Facebook. A lot of people have lost their job. Okay, you remember the one that got a job with NASA? He got a job with NASA. And he now came online, he wrote something. It's a popular thing, you can check it when you have time. He now read something. I think the CEO or somebody, a director or somebody top there in NASA responded. The guy just gave him his mind, just, just abused him. And that's how the guy, he was. Working with NASA is one of the best things that can happen to anybody in the US, right? And that's how he lost that opportunity. So please be very careful how you use social media. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So, what as an advisor now, what platform do you think people, maybe you're trying to connect with people out there, maybe you want to get to know professionally, what platform do you think people can actually connect with folks?
Of course, it's LinkedIn, obviously. It's LinkedIn. Please maximize the use of. I will advise everybody. Sometimes somebody sends me a profile on somebody sends me a connection on Facebook. Do you know, sometimes rather than accept, sometimes I go and check who the person is on LinkedIn. And I found out that most times some people don't have a professional presence. You understand? I've gotten, I remember some time ago, Robert Gordon University in Scotland, they contacted me to come and apply for a lecturer position. They contacted me via, they saw my profile on LinkedIn, contacted me via inbox. Now, so why I'm saying that is, have a proper, work on your LinkedIn profile. You can search jobs on LinkedIn. You can make connections on LinkedIn, lifelong connections on LinkedIn. So please create a LinkedIn profile. You don't need to go on a master class on how to have a LinkedIn profile. You can just go on YouTube. You can check how to create a captivating YouTube profile. There are lots of videos that you will see. So please maintain a very good LinkedIn profile. And of course, employers will contact you. Yeah. Okay. And then not just employers, you're going to connect with people. In fact, you get challenged. Easily you go on LinkedIn, you see, things that people are achieving. Of course, sometimes you might feel belittled, but it actually serves as a motivation. It doesn't mind if some people like, but that's inconsequential. Yeah. So that's it.
Just trying to talk about or stress more about what you just talked about. I remember when I started building my LinkedIn profile, whenever I come on online on LinkedIn, I'm always feeling oppressed. Like I see people, I was just see a lady of 21, 22 years posting different things. I'm like, Timothy, what have you done with your life all this while?
Yeah.
And I discovered that consistency actually is key when it comes to working on yourself and also on building a very good brand for yourself. So what I kept doing was I'll go online today, try addressing my profile, try, like, I was always adding different things, and before you knew it, employers started contacting me. Like,
Good.
I literally get, when I go on LinkedIn, I literally get messages of, oh, we've seen your profile and wanted to come and work with us. And these are places that I've always wanted to work. And when they are reaching out to me, I'm just smiling, I'm saying, oh, so this thing actually had come to pass. So it's something that is very paramount to each and every one of us out there. Please and please work on your LinkedIn profile. It will actually help you. It will help you to build yourself professionally.
Yeah, and I want to say that, you see, just one little advice you know, can shift shift your position. Like, remember the lady I talked about? By God's grace, I'm confident that she's going to get a scholarship. It's already ongoing, and then she will leave the country to come study. Now, it's just so you don't know. I think Ben is on this call. He will talk about a young person that is somebody that contacted to on LinkedIn, and later the guys got a fully funded PhD scholarship. So what I'm saying is, reach out to people. If you see somebody that is doing what you desire to do, somebody has gone ahead of you, there's nothing wrong in reaching out to the person and ask questions, seek for clarity. Understand? Seek for clarity. In fact, there's a day I gave a guy so much time, like real time. You understand me? And I was counseling him. He said, how does he go abroad? That if he goes to passport office, he was really very blank. Would they give him visa? Will he be able to live abroad? So I had to, cancel him. After canceling him, I saw that he wasn't having the financial capacity because he hasn't even gotten a degree. I now told him, I researched schools, go, since he has some bit of money because he was trading Forex. I now told him Nigerian local universities that he will go to, which are private universities, that he wouldn't waste much time. I told him, look at this course, it's good to read because you have the capacity to take this course. And in 3-4 years, you'll be done. And then every other thing is going to, become easy. And of course, it's going to open limitless doors. So that's it. Those things you are struggling with, you don't have an idea. Somebody has been there. Ask questions. That's it. Pick mentors and, work with them. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. We've exceeded 1 hour already because we're actually aiming to stop at 1 hour.
Are the people shy to ask questions?
Yeah, I think, I don't know whether, but obviously questions, what normally happen, questions will start coming in later on. So hopefully we'll pop the question, or I can tag you with the question so that you see if you can probably respond to any of them online. So
okay.
You dealt with a lot of areas in terms of time management. Let's just quickly talk about that before we draw the curtain tonight. So when it comes to time management, is one thing that is not being taught in the four walls of the higher institution. How to manage your time, how to be courteous when it comes to knowing what to do and when to do it. When I had a similar program some time ago about time management, I faulted myself that when it comes to timing, I think I might have a challenge there. But I think I've worked with you for over a year now, and I can say that when it comes to time management, you are really doing well.
Well, I'm trying, but I'm still progressing, right? See, the world is designed in such a way that everything craves for your time.
Yeah.
Understand that, as the British would say, time is money. So the social media is designed in such a way that it takes your time. Okay, you'll see they will ask you to turn on your notifications. Those notifications, I found out that sometimes even if you say, well, I'm not going to, bro, there is something that's just to notify you that you just were like, what is this? Let me see what it is. You get, so if you get like my Twitter, I have a notification, I mute my Twitter notifications. So it's except now they send, and even sometimes they send to your email. You want to see what is there. So understand that everything is designed, especially social media. All the platforms are designed to buy your time. Let me give you a very funny instance. Very funny instance. When I was in final year in the university, it was the year of to go. All right. So there was a sister. We became friends on to go. I was in Cross River. She was in the west, one of the states, maybe Ekiti or Osun. So I can't remember the state. We were friends, So that day, I wanted to go read in the morning. I took my bag. I think I used to cross that bag like that. I took my bag. She came online. I dropped the bag. Do you know I chatted with that lady until she said she wanted to go for choir practice in the afternoon, in the evening. When she said she was going to go, I said bye. I now came to myself. I said, you want to have a first class, isn't it? You want to read for exams, and you're wasting time chatting with somebody this long. What I did was, do you know, later on, I told her I was good. I deleted the app completely from my phone. Sometimes you have to take such drastic steps. Like our morning devotion handle on Twitter, sometimes those people reach out to me, say, I want to be, in fact, recently, a lady that studied medicine, she reached out to me and told me that she wants to take some time off. I said, fine, because she definitely has identified that this thing is hindering her from concentrating, and she had to take it off. And I'll say, fine, whenever you're back, because they are students, I encourage them to read. And so I had to delete that. Today, that lady is married with kids, hopefully, yeah. I don't even have her contact, but that's my result I'm still using now. Imagine if I had sacrificed that, I became careless because of a relationship with, it wasn't even a relationship, it was just mere friendship. When I say friendship, like a friend you have, but you start discussing and then you guys getting close. We are in two different states completely. So, no, sometimes you have to take drastic steps. If that is it, I talk of airplane mode, put your phone in airplane mode so that it will not disturb you, so you concentrate. And as I said, you can have a to-do list every day, just things you do, and then you prioritize things that are more important, put them at the top. We used to call it a scale of preference, right? Put those things that are more important at the top, and then you start working on them. So time management is very important. Not everything is designed to steal away your time, but you have to be in control of your life. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Oga Gospower. I think we'll have to start drawing the curtain here tonight. Probably we'll need to have a second section of this, because I know there are areas that you've not actually exhausted tonight when it comes to life lessons that school don't teach. So we are going to be having a life lesson school don't teach 2.0. Let's just assume this is 1.0, and we'll be bringing our guests back to this platform to discuss other areas where that school don't actually teach when it comes to life matters. So what is your final word to the viewers before you go tonight, Mr. Gospel?
It is that life has been given to you, but what you become out of this life is entirely yours. Know that whatever you set your heart to achieve, you can. And do not let the obstacles and the impediments on your way hinder you from going out to achieve. Achieve. Now, sorry, I just want to bring a scripture into it. There's this scripture in Proverbs that said, the lazy man said, there's a lion on the street. Now, the guy actually said that. He says, they said there is a lion on the street. The guy never went out to check if there's actually a lion. He actually depended on the word of what people say. It means that people are going to magnify the obstacles above you, but understand that you are not them, you are different. Go out there and achieve results. It is results that the world value. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Gospel, for your time. We appreciate the fact that you have spent time to join us tonight. So we'll be doing this again next time, and we'll bring to the notice of the audience when we'll be doing this again, and we'll be having a 2.0 of this particular talk show tonight. Mr. Gospel has actually dealt with some areas, and I'm very sure that there are other areas that it has not been dealt with tonight. Don't forget.
Thank you.
Life has been given to you, but what you'll be doing with it matters a lot. So your future is in your hands, and you have to make good use of it. Thank you once again, Mr. Gospel, for your time, and we hope to see you again next time.
Yeah, it's pleasure is mine. Always, bro. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, you have a good night rest and see you again next time.
Bye.
Bye.